Today we want to make sure that everyone gets a good personal picture of who the judges are that make this competition happen. And today I'm going to sit down with each of them, ask them some questions, and we're going to learn a whole bunch of information. So let's get started. We are now joined by Ivelisse, one of the judges for the competition. And Ivelisse, I want to start out by asking you the question, tell us about your field of expertise and a little background about where you work.
Sure. So I lead Bombilla, which is a branding and design agency for social change. We're based in Oakland, California, and it's an extension of my career in corporate social responsibility and using the power of public relations, marketing, and design to spark change. And so we're trying to reimagine the creative agency model, and we're also using our creative skills to support systems changing organizations.
Excellent. Ivelisse, the next question is, what is your experience with the American Advertising Federation?
This is my first time being a judge, and I'm honored and humbled, to be honest, that people care about my opinion. And I am thankful for the invitation. So thank you, American Advertising Awards and the Federation. So
Ivelisse, 2020 was an insane year, and we wanted to ask, what was something crazy that happened to you in 2020? It can be in anything, but what happened?
Well, CJ, I mean, when you ask that question, I can't help but think of September 9, 2020, when California was orange. It definitely felt like the peak of the apocalypse. But I would say, between a global pandemic, racial tensions, political crises, I mean, it's a blessing to have survived it all. And so I'm hopeful, with the start of a new year, but I'm definitely, it's a lot of a lot of thrill seeking, I would say, in some regard, not by choice necessarily. And I think one thing I am proud of walking out of 2020 is having weathered it as a small business owner and still being able to hire employees. So there's silver linings, which is why I like to say you have to stay apocalyptic yet radically optimistic during these times.
Mm-hmm. Very well said. And also, that is something to be proud of, to have weathered that storm and come out on the other side, I assume, even stronger. Am I right? Thank you, Ivelisse, for answering all of our questions. And we are going to be back with you later on to talk about your judge's choice. We are here with one of the judges for the competition, Clark, and we want to learn a little bit more about Clark. So let's start out with Clark. Clark, tell us about your field of expertise and a little background about where you work.
All right. I am the Executive Creative Director at FMS in Nashville, or just outside of Nashville. We're essentially a branding agency that focuses particularly in the financial sector. We do a lot of work with community and regional banks all over the country. So as a result, I spend most of my time building brands, and I've learned a lot about it and gotten a lot better at it over the years. But the basic function of our agency is to help financial institutions become better brands instead of just pushers of product. So that's kind of what we do.
So Clark, we'll just have that as the regular way that it happens. Please edit some of this stuff in. This is where the good stuff actually comes out, Clark. It's when I start to mess up profusely.
It's the meat on the bone.
Okay. It is. It really is. The bones, you see, everyone wants the bones, but they've never tried the meat. Okay. So, what is your experience with the American Advertising Federation?
I've been a judge a handful of times. I've been involved in clubs. When I was first starting out in this business, my first year, I won about 3 Addies, local Addies, and I thought that for me, that was like winning a Grammy. It was at the time one of the greatest moments of my life, so I've always sort of been in love with it because of that.
So you've been on both ends of the spectrum here.
I have, and enjoyed both of them, but especially when I was starting out, like the Addies were one of those things that, man, if I could get an Addie, if I could do that, then my work is at the level of my peers. I'm doing something that's that matters not just for business, but for the people whose opinion I respect. And that was really a big deal for me early in my career, and still is, frankly.
And obviously it stuck with you, right?
Indeed. Enough that now I judge a few.
So Clark, what was the craziest thing that happened to you in 2020?
So I have a son who has pretty significant special needs. And because we were quarantined, needless to say, we're not going out a lot. One of the few things in the world he'll eat is Chick-fil-A fries. So we have been to the same drive-through in the same Chick-fil-A at about the same time, probably 200 times since March. No joke. So
Wow.
now I'm on a first name basis with the drive-through folks and the people bringing our fries, and they all know my son. And so little did I know I would gain a second family at a random Chick-fil-A because of the quarantine.
Right? I was just about to say, the relationships we make that we value the most are often the least expected.
I never saw it coming.
Well, well said. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's really cool. Clark, it was wonderful to take some time to actually get to know you a little bit better, and we're going to be hearing about your judge's choice later on in the show. I am here with one of our judges in the competition, Yash, and I'm going to ask him a couple of questions about himself. Let's get to know Yash. Let's get beneath the, epidermal layer. I don't know that word. We'll get beneath the surface. We're going to learn about you. Yash, just answer the questions as I ask them, and this will all, this will move.
That was a wild journey of an introduction.
This entire hosting experience for me has been one heck of a unexpected journey, and if I had eagles or something to help me, Gandalf, I don't know. Let's move on. Tell us a little bit about where you work. What's your expertise? What do you want us to know about you?
Ooh. Well, getting to know me, man, it's been a 37-year journey for me. But the work me works at Push Button Creative Audio. It's a company that my business partner and I started 15 years ago. I was still in college. It was my senior year of college, and so Push Button Creative Audio works with regional, national, and some local brands to develop audio on any scale. So it started out specifically with radio advertising, and then a couple of years later, we got into music development for brands, and then a few years after that, we got into podcast development. But it's all a branding focus. So it's it's not like Joe Blow's podcast, but we work with brands and we take them from basically not knowing what they want to do in a audio branding sense, and we sort of usher them into really great branded audio.
You're the foremost expert on you, so thank you for giving us that. All right, so...
It'd be weird if I wasn't.
It would be, wouldn't it? It'd be rather odd. Yash. I don't need to keep saying your name. I've already been yelled at that.
No, but keep it. I like it.
Okay, Yash. What is your experience with the American Advertising Federation?
Oh my God. So I have done everything on earth for the AAF. I was involved as a student, and then I was president of the Orlando Federation in 2012. And then I was governor of the 4th District a few years after that. And then I just wrapped up my term as chairman of the National Federation 6 months ago. And so now I'm the immediate past chairman of the National Federation Council of Governors. And I have been involved in, I've probably run 8 or 10 Addy shows at this point. I've been judge at over 25 shows. I'm still really involved with, helping students out. I run the District 4 Gala, which I don't know if you guys at District 8 have a big gala, but we have a huge gala in District 4. So yeah, and it's been a journey. Now, why don't you share something?
So all right, so I was waiting for this all day, so let me talk about myself for a little bit. Actually, no, I'm not going to. We're going to skip over to the last question for the personal bio. I know, right? I know. Later on.
I wanted beard care tips from you.
You just blow on your thumb and it goes, just shows up. All right, so let's do, try it. I mean, give it a shot.
I did once. It didn't come out this way.
It didn't come out this way. My eyebrows were I had to comb them. All right, so.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you what happened.
So 2020 was an insane year. Absolutely crazy.
Was it?
I would think so.
Awesome.
In a number of ways. But in your opinion, in your life, what was the craziest thing that happened to you in 2020?
Well, there's a few things. Well, obviously I was locked in my place for 3 months. I live in a high rise, and so that wasn't really fun because although I was locked in my place, it was like being in an institution where, one person in the elevator at a time. That wasn't a lot of fun. There was all the building stuff was shut down. That wasn't great. But I'll tell you, like, I travel a lot. Travel is like the thing that I enjoy doing the most. And we had planned a trip to go back to the motherland, which for us is Morocco, my family. And so we had a couple of folks who came out of Morocco still around. They're 2 generations back, but they're still kicking. And so we convinced them finally to go back after like a 20-year odyssey in the family of like, please, let's go back, like show us stuff. And we convinced them to go back, and our trip was planned for March 14th. And the lockdown started March 15th, which was just the worst. That was my own personal torture because I've been wanting to do that trip for a long time. But I mean, honestly, how bad was it for me? Not as bad as it was for a lot of other people. Mm-hmm. I can't complain. It's been, thank goodness, praise be, it's been okay. Mm-hmm. Just really boring.
Thank you very much, Yash, for sharing all of your insights and opinions. We welcome them and we appreciate them. And now, back to the show.